Hello, welcome to this week's asynchronous video on project and career management. This entire week is about supporting you as the students of this program to manage your career and also to learn about some of the basic project management skills that are required in business problem solving. This particular video is specifically focused on career management and really to think about your career as the key vehicle that we use to solve business problems and how you should manage your career in order to advance your goals, but also the company's goals. So in terms of agenda, we'll talk about sort of the the why in terms of the changing nature of careers, the current intensity in the corporate culture, and how to adopt an empowering new system. And then we will also discuss very briefly pieces of project management and sort of self-management. And then in the course of the rest of the week, we will actually talk about the personal career plan. So the how part is actually outside the agenda for this video. It's more for the synchronous video that we will be doing live. So let's start with the reality check, right? So today, the nature of work relationships between employers and employees has changed substantially. A lot of recent college grads do have trouble landing jobs, although with a institution like OPIT, your chances of landing a career are much higher because of the recognition and the certification that this university has. And that really does bring about the current system is broken in many respects. A famous example of the broken system is that a lot of people go to LinkedIn or go to some websites and apply for jobs, and then they sit back and have this misguided optimism that the company is going to respond just looking at the website. But that's not true. Often these companies get thousands of emails and thousands of applications, and they probably are only hiring one or two positions. So it's very rare, and they have multiple IT systems sometimes that actually uh, filter out resumes based on keywords. So it's really important to know how to manage your career, and perhaps the most important skill is like how to land the job of your choice. Now, I think the fundamental issue is that on the left hand side here we think that resumes and ads and agencies are the primary ways in which people land up in jobs, but actually it's not like that. It's more like if there's an opening, the first thing they will do is look for someone inside the company to fill that role, and then they will sort of talk to their colleagues and their networks, and then they will look at referrals, and then, the next sort of layer is like drop-ins with proof and contacts, and then agencies, ads, and resumes comes towards the very end of the prioritization, as you can see here on the right. And so that's a very important thing to keep in mind is that, you guys are lucky because you do have a campus placement option within OPIT, and that is going to support you in your career path in terms of landing your first job and getting your foot in the door. But as you think about your career for the next 5, 10 years, it's very important to understand that in order to be successful in your career, you really want to have a network of connections in order to land a high quality professional job. So I do want to sort of really go deep into some of these very basic ideas about a career, right? Like today, most of us as professionals spend at least 40% of our time, awake time, in jobs, in full-time jobs. It's a big part of our lives. It's a big part of our identity and who we identify ourselves as in society. And so it's important that we choose our career and we have a lot of say in it, and you guys have made the decision, and I really commend you for it. You're like the 1% of the population that has actually made the decision to come this far and take this advanced degree in order to proffer your career. But the thing to remember is that career is a living and breathing thing. and it does evolve over time, and opportunities constantly change, so you have to constantly be on the lookout for that. And fundamentally, my version of career is there's three parts to it, right? There's first skills and knowledge to actually create value, and that's sort of the courses that you're learning in terms of, whether it's machine learning or AI. And then there's a track record, and that's part of the reason why we care about your assignments and grades, because it establishes a track record, and that's a reliable social proof for your potential future employer to be looking at. And then, of course, in many ways, the most important thing is relationships, because you work in a company full of people, at least for now, before AI replaces us all. I'm joking. And it's very important to have great relationships with these people. And so the fundamental thing is, like, you want to proactively manage your career, and you want to develop a plan and implement it to constantly develop throughout your professional career, which is 10, 20, 30 years from today. Many of you are starting off your career, and it's important to sort of think about these three dimensions. And like, just like we talked about a number of frameworks throughout this course, this is a framework to have in mind as you think about your careers. Now let's talk a little bit about project management, right? And what I want to kind of point out is, like, your career is like a project. It has multiple parallel work streams, and it has multiple stakeholders. And so we're going to dig deep into this part in the synchronous session, but really think about your career itself as a project, and think about yourself as a company, right? I incorporated, and think about context before content. Many of you may have families, may have other values, and so those contexts are very important to determining what career is best for you. And think about this, that you are in business for yourself, and just like how you would really respect a client's request and make sure that you deliver on time, you want to really be able to be answerable to yourself in order to accomplish whatever goal you may have in your life. And it is a lifelong investment, right? It's something that very important to think about. Is like, oftentimes in the heat of the moment we forget that this one single incident on a specific day is not going to be that important 5 years from now, and really have the long-term view about where we're going. And that is also very important. So, in summary, in this lecture, we talked about why career management is so important, and spoke about how the current system is somewhat broken. And we spoke about how one can actually think about a career in a framework with three facets, and constantly invest their time to improve their career on those three facets throughout their professional lives. And we talked about thinking about yourself as a company, and be answerable to yourself in order to accomplish your goals. Thank you.